Chat, here we go. We are starting the Europe versus Middle East 1v1 event. All the games today are going to be best of 5. And the first best of 5 that we have is Toxiic versus Kiileerrz. Now, 5 best of 5s are going to be played today. And the winner of the event, if you ask me, is going to be the region, that's the word I'm looking for, that wins at least 3 out of the 5 games. So every region important, but every game will have its own $200 prize pool brought to you by Metafy. So make sure you check out Metafy and thank them for getting us this nice event. Toxiic and Kiileerrz is, when we asked chat earlier, the closest matchup of any of the matchups. They could not decide who was going to win this one. Toxiic, a 1v1 player who has been in the high ranks of EU for a long time and has always been highly rated on the ones leaderboard. Whereas on the other side, we have a player who, while very high caliber in threes and soon to be in RLCS, I'm sure, actually doesn't grind the ones leaderboard much, if at all. And he's going to go up 1-0. Kieran tips $1. He wants to add $1 to the prize pool to cheer Toxiic to win. $201 prize pool now, I guess. Thank you, Kieran. Kiileerrz up 1-0. The cheer didn't work well for him. In fact, he got scored on right as the cheer came through. Kiileerrz in control off this kickoff. Toxiic able to put pressure on and take it away, though. Not a great first touch from Toxiic. I think he wanted to get that ball on top of his car. He actually almost found a way to shoot. He did! Kiileerrz got a little bit lazy here because Kiileerrz definitely had enough in the tank to make this save. I felt like it was a total accident to drop the ball down like Toxiic did. And yeah, Kiileerrz just thought he was going to get a save off the post and maybe set up a quick counter. And I talked about it before, that players like to make saves off the post nowadays in order to, they're willing to take that risk in order to counter. And I had never really seen it not work for anybody. But let's make sure we remember that. Kiileerrz, I think, was trying to get a quick turnaround and instead just got a goal in his net. So it is a risk to make. And Kiileerrz proving that right now as Toxiic takes to the skies. Couldn't get the reset. So Kiileerrz is going to be able to get the easy save and grab his own boost as well. So I think he'll be putting a ton of pressure on Toxiic. Even though you could argue Toxiic had possession. Kiileerrz from the corner. Going to get the reset with ease. This is Kiileerrz' specialty. Take to the skies. That's where he feels comfortable. And Toxiic, even though he's got 68 in the tank, is not going to be able to make this save. Kiileerrz too crafty. Getting the reset. Making it look like he's going to put it near post by the position of his car into the flip. But he touches it with the back end of his car, which redirects it far post past Toxiic. Puts him up 2-1. Toxiic not the best of first touches, but he makes it work. Oh my goodness, it wasn't in. Must have been crossbar now. I was surprised that Toxiic was able to keep that high. He actually ended up keeping it too high. So credit to him. Now he's got a ton of space ahead of him. Bounce dribble cut off immediately by Kiileerrz. I've liked the pressure he's put on early. Doesn't want to let Toxiic get into any sort of rhythm. Now Toxiic, will he go full field dribble? He's not one to do this very often, I don't think. Look at this challenge from Kiileerrz. He has had enough of this. We actually saw him in his most recent match against Nupo. And if you remember him against Nupo, if you didn't see that match, he was coming off the ceiling and early challenging every aerial so fast. And it made sense, especially against a guy like Nupo, because Nupo will destroy you if you let him into the air. Toxiic isn't a bad aerial player. He certainly has it as part of his game, but I wouldn't say it's his main tactic to getting wins, and it still doesn't matter. Kiileerrz is not going to let him have it at all. Just immediately off the ceiling to take it away. 3-1. Such suffocating defense that is happening on the blue half. You know, you might not even think of it as defense because he's being so aggressive with it and never letting Toxiic really gain control. Nice flick over the top of him. 4-1 for Kiileerrz. Absolutely on a roll at the start of this game. Toxiic, the wave dash kickoff. There's one thing that should work for Toxiic in the long series. He will likely have the kickoff edge, as much more of a ones player than Kiileerrz. Oh, the flick. It was perfect in keeping it away from Kiileerrz, but just a little bit off. Hitting wide on the post. He's just got tons of boost. He's going to take about 80 of it out of his tank just to get up to the ball and catch this. He had to put himself going very fast in order to stop the momentum of the ball, and I'm not sure it was worth how much boost it cost him. And now this You know, we've been crediting Kiileerrz's defense all game long. This was just a freebie. He actually picked up a few pads. He had 36, so he didn't really need to do this in and out of the net thing. I guess the biggest problem was that his momentum was going to be really backwards. Not backwards, but towards his net. Like, he was going to have a hard time slowing himself down to get up to make the save. So he thought it was just going to be easier to use the back of the net in order to change that momentum. Oh, look at the shot. Good movement, but just lacking the speed from Toxic. Toxic tried to catch Kiileerrz off guard. It doesn't work. He gets the save. He can't get the counter. Great recovery. Oh, actually, he does get the counter. I thought he was going to get it much freer than he did. Toxic actually had a great recovery on 0 boost. Tried to single jump in order to pop that away and keep his continued recovery alive. If he tried to side flip into that, maybe he gets a better touch, but he also immediately ends his chances at getting back. So that's why he single jumps in hopes that he got a good enough touch that he can recover from, but he wasn't able to. Kiileerrz up 5-2, a minute left to go. Toxic, air dribble bump. Had a really tight angle on that. I'm not even sure it would have gone in even if he connected. Is he going to be able to get the quick goal? Yeah, he should be able to. Great placement. 5-3, 51 seconds left to go. I mean, he could get this in no time at all with a couple solid kickoffs. Diagonal. We'll see if Toxic goes wave dash on the diagonal. No wave dash, just goal side. He wins it. He just needs the ball to come back down to the ground. Kiileerrz tried to bump him, but way too soon. Toxic should be able to finish this. Ooh, he actually slammed it right at Kiileerrz. You can go placement or you can go speed in this position. You know, just slam it hard enough before Kiileerrz gets back out of the net, or if you place it far enough away, it's not going to matter. But Toxic just goes for the speed option. 44 seconds left to go. Kiileerrz, what is he going to do on these kickoffs? Both of them going wave dash, and Kiileerrz wins the race to the boost. The problem for Toxic is that he tried to win the race himself. If he had just given up, it would have been a much better position. So Kiileerrz will get control of the ball. 30 seconds left to go. No incentive for Kiileerrz to rush this, but that is a weak flick. He almost got Toxic out of net. Oh no, Toxic. He wanted to save as much boost as possible. He definitely could have flipped this away and gotten it out of net with ease, but he was trying to like single jump it and then gain control. I don't know. Kiileerrz did put a good amount of pressure on him after the flick. At 6-4, it's not looking very likely anymore for Toxic unless he gets this one right away. And that dive is necessary but unsuccessful. So Kiileerrz will take game number 1 in a best of 5. Certainly not over here for Toxic, but a good start from the youngster from the Middle East. You will see him debuting in RLCS next season for sure. I don't know who he might be playing with, but I know he'll be there. Make it 8-4. The scoreline is not going to be fair to Toxic in this game. Toxic played a great game. It was very close, down to the wire. As all of us who watched it know, anybody looking at the scoreline is going to see a Kiileerrz domination. Toxic switches off the Fennec and into the Octane. Will it be the solution for him in this matchup against Kiileerrz? We'll have to see. I do feel like I've seen Toxic play more Octane. When I think of when Toxic's been playing his best, I do imagine him in an Octane. Toxic, I wonder if he likes these dribbles, these ground dribbles, because there's been a couple different situations now where I felt like he could have carried. Instead, he let the dribble fall down and then tried to protect it for a low 50 or like cut it to the side, which is normally almost the only person I've ever seen do it was Evo. And Evo doesn't even do it that much anymore, preferring the dribble on the ground rolling as opposed to the carry. Pretty much every other player feels like there's more options, and I have to agree when the ball is carried, and Toxic is going to carry it this time, which does make me think that maybe he's just been making some mistakes, especially with his flicks. With his flicks, he certainly wants to be carrying the ball. And Kiileerrz camping at the midfield, waiting for the 100 to respawn, kind of put him in an awkward spot, and maybe needed to prioritize the play over just literally sitting at the midfield. Toxic challenge this time on the dribble. I wonder if Kiileerrz was trying to get a quick shot. I'm sure he was, right? I imagine as that ball came to the ground, he was trying to drive under it such that it chipped at net, because I think it would have been a goal if so, but it's kind of a slight touch that he probably just missed. Toxic, look at this shot! Oh my goodness, Toxic. Where did the power come from this? A really slow air dribble, but Toxic gets the reset and then just launches it. 130. Okay, Kiileerrz accelerated it to 113. I was going to say, that was good, but it wasn't 113 kilometers per hour good. That's because Kiileerrz gave it a bit extra, but still, a surprising change of speed, and that's what matters. Not necessarily how fast the shot is, but how much faster it is than the defender was expecting. Kiileerrz air dribble into the reset. Actually, almost dropped it behind Toxic into the post. Toxic has the save, and Kiileerrz is going to retreat all the way to his back corner. Let Toxic go to work with the flick, but he did not go to work. So that was one of the weaker flicks we've seen from him. Still has the lead 2-0, though. Kiileerrz on the breakaway. Not able to get the shot, but is able to keep Toxic off the corner boost by pressuring him at supersonic speed. And Kiileerrz has to be more clinical if he wants to break Toxic down. That shot was so obviously off the net that Toxic can just stay glued to the ground. And with zero boost, if you get Toxic in the air, it's almost definitely a goal. Kiileerrz is falling a little bit too much in love with these in and out of the net saves. I mean, there's really no reason, especially when he's set up like this. I don't know why you'd want to go in and out of the net. Just feels like you get a better angle doing a more conventional save. But hey, it would have been insane if he had gotten it. Toxic in his wave dash kickoffs. He hasn't been dominating with him. Kiileerrz has a good one. He's been quick out the gate. Not a great 50 for Kiileerrz. He's going to be forced to take it back to the corner, I feel like. But no, he's actually going to play it much more aggressively. Cut to the midfield instead. Now he's got full boost. Toxic coming to challenge. Very easy to read, but he got there fast enough. Imagine that bounces in. That is quite the pinch. Wait, you might be able to score off of it. Kiileerrz, he tried to... Did he have no boost? No, he had a ton. Interesting. I think he was maybe expecting a harder shot. I don't know why he came off the wall so early. He's got 100, and he kind of like pre-jumped it and then backflipped. I mean, he just needed to keep flying. It was definitely savable, but what a crazy, crazy pinch that Toxic got, slamming it off the ceiling and ground before it ever slowed down. Kiileerrz bounce dribble once again, challenged well by Toxic. He just has a good read on when it is perfect time to approach. Kiileerrz hasn't been able to do anything. You know, normally you see somebody challenging like that, you're able to chip over them if they didn't time it right. Toxic covering the angles. It's been able to keep a perfect score line, 5-0. I mean, Kiileerrz, it was a close game in the last one. Kiileerrz blew it out in the final moments when Toxic needed to be a bit more aggressive in his last-ditch attempt to win the game. That's when Kiileerrz got like 3 or 4 more. But this one has just been domination from Toxic. As I say that, I've finally allowed Kiileerrz to score by hyping Toxic up. Nothing crazy from Kiileerrz. Just a soft touch to set himself up on the wall, and Toxic finally punished for his over-aggressive challenges before they had all been working so well. Toxic wall to air dribble. Imagine he's got to play this safe. With a 5-1 lead, minute 20 left to go. A hard time seeing Toxic go all in for any sort of air dribble play. He's going to dribble this one all the way from his own back corner. Got the reset. The shot was fine. Kiileerrz and his pre-jumping defense for aerials has worked well. Toxic missing the musty and got just enough of a touch on the ball and on Kiileerrz to not lose possession. Wow. It was honestly a big mistake. You can kind of tell. I mean, that's not what he meant to do, but he completely recovered from it and prevented any poor happenings from it. And now he's just kind of playing keep away. Kiileerrz got a single touch, but he's not going to take away possession. Toxic is just going to continue to hold on to it. And another reset. And he's going to go for the safe option, just letting it fall away and staying in control of the ball. This has been a perfect performance here from Toxic. One single bad challenge was the only thing he's done wrong all game long. got Kiileerrz first. But it's hard to even blame him for it because I think those early challenges were the reason why he had shut down Kiileerrz so much all game. And now I've been talking him up just a little bit too much because he's going to give away possession again. He played keep away for probably a full minute, though, so it's really not the end of the world for him. Up 5-1, play a minute of keep away with a minute 20 left on the clock, and leave only 14 seconds for the opponent to get 3 more. I mean, it's not likely. So I think Toxiic still, credit to him. Great game. We'll see if he can do the same as the series goes on. It'll be 1-1 as we head to game number 3. We're going to have to wait one more second here. Maybe even more since they chip it up into the air. Kiileerrz says, no, I want this to hit the ground. I'm bumping you. GG's. Toxiic looking strong. Game 2. Game number 3. I think Kiileerrz is looking for something early. We haven't seen offense from him really at all. You know, we talk about the fact that he still got a couple goals in the previous game. All of them came at Toxiic mistakes. Ooh, what a flick. This is a nasty flick to start this one. Kiileerrz rotating back off the kickoff to grab boost. Went slightly upfield, just slightly upfield to put pressure. And that was enough to not be able to get to the far post after the flick. But what I was saying before is Toxiic has controlled the game now for a full 5 minutes, 15 seconds. You know, Kiileerrz has only been given opportunities when Toxiic lets him. When he doesn't do something right, finally there's an opening. We haven't really seen extended possessions at all for Kiileerrz, and that's not going to change right now. He had a couple touches in a row, but it's pretty obvious that Toxiic will be regaining control shortly. And in fact, it's maybe obvious to everybody but Kiileerrz. He should have realized that he could not stay up with these 0 boosts. I mean, that's always a death sentence. Soft, horizontal touch, using all your boosts to do so, and double jumping. I mean, it just, there's no way that'll ever work in these high-level 1v1 games. Toxiic could have placed that shot in a position that would have forced Kiileerrz into a much tougher save. Kiileerrz is camping on this corner boost. He's got 100. He really needs to break up this possession from Toxiic. A little fake challenge. See if he can get him to pop it away. And he might have succeeded in doing so. But look at Toxiic. Ooh, undercut. All right, this is Kiileerrz's first really clean offensive possession in a while, and it's going to be a goal. That is 100% conversion rate, which is a good sign if you're a Kiileerrz fan, but he just needs to find a way to get more of these possessions. Love the delayed shot. Got Toxiic up, and then uses the flip late in the count in order to push it past. Kiileerrz has had the better wave dash kickoff too, which is surprising. You know, Toxiic definitely a very solid on that kickoff. Kiileerrz is going to dribble it to the left corner, and he gets it past. Still 100% conversion rate whenever Kiileerrz has had some open field. It's all about making sure he continues to get so, and there's not a better method to do that than to win the kickoffs. Oh, Toxic's going to get a free goal, though. That's straight in. 3-2. The lead regained. What did Kiileerrz do? I imagine he went wave dash. Oh, no, he didn't do wave dash. The wave dash has been working well. I'm surprised he went away from it. Toxiic going goal side. Kiileerrz staying diagonal. This is the expected result from that. Pushed into this corner. And I guess it's fine for Kiileerrz as long as he wins the race to his corner, but he didn't. So Toxiic now in control once again. Kiileerrz literally went all the way to his back wall and still made it back to challenge Toxiic early in the dribble. Toxiic trying to catch Kiileerrz out of position, but he gets the save, and he actually gets his own boost. He's going to get the ball on top of his car right away. Toxiic wants to challenge because he knows it's going to be a slow setup. When the ball is rolling like that, it takes a few touches to get it up and ready to carry. And there's no better time to challenge than that. It's either challenge now or never, so Toxiic turns. And he's taking control once again. Gonna make sure to steal this corner. In the long starvation of Kiileerrz, the backflip challenge isn't gonna cut it, as Toxiic regains control shortly after and goes up 4-2. Toxic, immediate kickoff win. Starting to see a few more of the Toxic kickoff goals we're used to. This one at least pushed into the blue half, but it's still going to be a Toxic win, I would argue. Since he's going to get the mid and back corner boost. Full field dribble. Kiileerrz has been coming off the ceiling, and Toxic countered it, but only barely. Somehow, Kiileerrz actually had a chance at saving this. This is the perfect counter. You want to speed the dribble as fast as possible and push it away from where the player is coming off the ceiling. That is definitely the ideal situation for him. But Kiileerrz still almost got there. Which is wild to think. If he's able to save a shot like that while going from the ceiling, and he truly can cover any option from what is a really tough position. Thank you, Croptopolis, for the tier 1. Welcome to the squad, Crop. Great time casting with you yesterday. Toxic absolutely dicing up Kiileerrz here. Another $1 donated to make it a 202 prize pool, because at least that's nice and symmetrical. Wave dash kickoff for Kiileerrz. He actually might have an immediate goal. Did he get it in? He did not. And now Toxic is going to score the other way. That is tough. Hard not to feel like this game is lost here in game number 3. But it's time for Kiileerrz to start maybe experimenting, testing out some stuff he wasn't doing before. Really, I mean, I don't know, 6 goals in a minute 45. Kiileerrz could take this one back, but I still just think the way the game has been going, period, it's time to experiment, even if it's in an attempt to win this game still. Because Toxic has just completely shut him down. A demo in a 9th. 9-2. For the Englishman. Toxic, look at the pressure off the kickoff. Thought he lost it, but he finds a way to win it. And, oh my goodness, what a save. Kiileerrz gets there just in time and launches it off the post all the way out to midfield. Mistake from Toxic, I would argue here. But he actually put pressure on Kiileerrz, who definitely could have long shot that. In free play, Kiileerrz takes that to the ground, long shots something, and it's really no problem at all. But the reason why he rushed it is because Toxic is swinging in from behind, looking to demo him. So he has to play really, really fast. And if he doesn't, he'll just die. So that's why he gets what is a pretty weak touch. Toxic able to take control. 10-2 is quite the run-up here. It has been now 9 straight minutes of full Toxic control. And in fact, Kiileerrz went up early. Well, no, never mind. He actually ran it up at the end of that last game. So I would say just 9 minutes. Kiileerrz double. Oh my goodness! Basically a double reset into a double touch off of Toxic. Oh, we got the ceiling reset for the first. Then the ball reset. And then the double on Toxic. Tapping it into the top left corner. If it were a freestyle event for best shot, then Kiileerrz would win this game. But fortunately, he's down 7. Doesn't really have any time to make that back up. But it's a great confidence booster. And maybe we'll see Kiileerrz get up into the air much more often later in this series, because I do think he probably has the edge there. I think Toxic on the ground, with this very physical gameplay that's been happening, with the flicks, I think he's going to have the edge. If Kiileerrz can somehow force a much more aerial-based game, which is hard to do, he might be able to get back into this one. 11-4. Toxic has no mercy. He wants to make sure that Kiileerrz knows that even when the next game starts, he's going to continue to be in control. Oh, interesting. That is an old school wave dash kickoff. And it worked perfectly. Whenever people discovered the wave dash, everybody started wave dashing on their way to the ball until everyone was like, wait a second, this looks cool, but it's just worse. And then everybody stopped. But maybe you can use that as a slight delay. A delay kickoff that is hard to read. Toxic to the skies in the last 10 seconds. Not going to get his shot. Kiileerrz going to go for a confidence booster late. Doesn't matter. He'll get taken off the map. Toxic is looking to keep it up. He wants to make sure he gets his 12-5 scoreline. No. It will hit. Toxic, 2 games in a row to go up 2-1. Putting himself on double match point. Game number 4. Toxic. 10 straight minutes of game control. Will he continue that in this next one? Or will the NRG decal pull Kiileerrz back into this? It looks like NRG is just too strong. We all know it, chat. And this pop over the top of Toxic proves it. The aggression not going to work out as Kiileerrz sees his first lead in quite a while. Kiileerrz in control again off the kickoff. Try to fake Toxic and making a poor touch. Didn't really succeed because Toxic is just taking control of the ball. He's going to go all the way back to his corner. Kiileerrz making sure to be close to the play. Toxic had a ton of separation on that setup. Just didn't give him a ton of options to play anything out of the air. Kiileerrz is going to take the ball back down to the ground. We talked about how I expected Kiileerrz maybe to play a more aerial game, considering how this has gone so far for him on the ground against Toxic. But he did very intentionally bring the ball down and completely kill the dribble in order to play some kind of carry. Oh, he almost own goaled there, but he does send it away. Toxic on the bounce dribble, some fakes to get Kiileerrz to back off. And now a real flick, and he puts it behind Kiileerrz, and that makes it impossible for him to turn and take it away because Toxic actually does launch the ball pretty high here. He launches it in a position that should be stealable from him, but because it's directly behind Kiileerrz, there's no way for him to turn around, and you could see him wanting to. He's kind of like twitching his car like, how do I take that from him? It's too high up, and then too late does he recognize that he needs to bail now. He needs to get back to his net because a strong shot is coming off that setup. If it didn't look so tantalizing, he might have immediately retreated and that shot wouldn't have been available. Toxic electing to just bump Kiileerrz instead of picking up the boost, but we end up in the same spot anyways, with both of them taking control of 100. This flick is solid. Toxic puts it off of the crossbar. And one thing Toxic has done really well that Kiileerrz hasn't been able to match is he keeps possession. He's done like even on that same exact shot, I feel like we've seen that from Toxic a few times. And he always manages to take the ball back into his own half and stay in control. And Kiileerrz has not been able to do that. After that one flick, it's immediately back in Toxic's possession. And now he's having to steal it away again. He has a great shot opportunity right now, though. He fakes this one, goes for the low 50, should be able to finish it. He has been playing very patient, trying to work his way back in, and it's working out. I feel like there's a couple different shot opportunities, but he's not rushing it. Toxic, the fake kickoff. Gonna work perfectly as he gets his corner boost and control of the ball. Kiileerrz close. Few different circling fakes. And now Toxic trying to bump. He's actually gonna slot it in. He chased Kiileerrz off the ball a little bit. And with only 15 boost, Kiileerrz couldn't get the angle he wanted. What Kiileerrz wants to do there is he wants to get the front of his car into the ball to save it strong to the sidewall. But the way to do that is he has to slow down ever so slightly. He's got to slow down a bit and then get that strong shot. What Toxic is doing by chasing him down is saying you don't get to slow down. You have to try and find a way to save this without slowing down. And that's what results in the really, really weak save that Toxic can then follow up. Toxic's going to outplay him at the midfield. And 2 quick goals. He's going to go from down to back in control. Kiileerrz has been able to get away with those ceiling challenges earlier in his in this match and also in his previous matches, but the past few times, Toxic has had the correct punish. 13 boosts, no better option than to just launch it to the top shelf and get Toxic to use a bit of boost in an effort to get the save. Now Toxic fell into Kiileerrz's net, which is a really good position. Kiileerrz will take to the sky. He'll get the reset. He's just going to go for the bump. Toxic can't stop him. Great capitalization on a mistake from Toxic. You see that other player in your net, you need to rush the ball. One of the best ways to rush is, a power shot if possible, but you can't power shot strong enough in a ton of positions. So when you can't, you just need a speedy air dribble as a way to rush it to the net. Finish it off with a bump, and you got yourself a third goal. Toxic, not liking his aerial setup, electing to save all 70 of his boost and take it to the ground instead. Should be able to steal this midfield. And this has just been a masterclass in maintaining possession. That's what Toxic has done in order to win these past couple games and stay tied here with Kiileerrz. Great challenge. Okay, Kiileerrz is going to be able to steal his corner boost. Can he take possession away? Toxic up the side wall is going to be eating it right back up. Now a carry. Toxic direct shadow. The fake flick. Kiileerrz didn't have a ton of boost left over. I mean, it's been really good boost starving. That has been one of the reasons why Toxic can hold on to possession as long as he does. He's not only keeping control of the ball, he's making sure to direct it around the map to positions where he can take Kiileerrz's boost. Like right here, diving into the corner, stealing that corner. So Kiileerrz is going to have to play with 16. He has a good read on the pop from Toxic. And Toxic is not own goaling, but trying to make it look like he might. Really deep fakes from Kiileerrz a ton of different times. Wonder if we'll start seeing him commit on those ever. Great recovery to finally not let Toxic steal his boost. Now the air dribble. Toxic back down to the ground, and he actually convinced Kiileerrz to take it to the ground. Perfect defense. If Kiileerrz had stayed high, he would have been able to go over the top. But he fell for the fake. It doesn't matter. He's going to score, and he wants to waste as much time as possible. Probably pulled an extra second off the clock. Doesn't want to slam it right away. With 14 seconds left to go, he needs this lead. Crucial kickoff in a low-scoring game. These kickoffs always hurt a little bit more if you can't control them in a game that's only 4-3. But diagonal kickoff, Kiileerrz, he did great on this one. Toxic, man. He has found a way, even in bad positions, to gain control. And now Kiileerrz diving super deep. Toxic takes to the skies. Off the ceiling. Not a ton of options for this. He'll have to take it back down to the ground. And he missed it himself. Can he keep it up? He actually has kept it up for now, but he's low on boost. There's no way, right? Yeah, there's no way. Not when you're at 0 can you keep it up. So it is going to be GG's from both these guys. We got game 5 in our first match of Toxic and Kiileerrz. Game number 5. Toxic representing Europe from England. Kiileerrz representing the Middle East from Saudi Arabia, which is, of course, every player is from Saudi Arabia. Toxic going to start with an air dribble. Kiileerrz in and out of the net. And is this a sign of what's to come? Because it finally works out for him. He has not backed down from going in and out of the net for a ton of different saves. And even though the past few have resulted in pretty easy goals for Toxic, this time it's going to work out for him. As he steals it, takes the early lead in the final game. Kiileerrz reset into a second. This has always been his strength in 1v1, and there's never a better time to do it than quickly off a kickoff. Toxic tried to challenge as early as possible, but ended up falling into the trap of the Kiileerrz reset. It's been the NRG decal chat. We should have known all along that it was going to power him up to a win. Wow, the catch in a third. All of a sudden, it's just domination in a way that we have not seen in a long time from Kiileerrz. Has the ceiling reset, doesn't use it, but it convinces Toxic to stay grounded all the way through the ball's trip to the ground. And then Kiileerrz just pops it past him. Oh, that's a good way to shake it off. That's a good way to shake it off if you're a Toxic fan. Immediate kickoff goal. Doesn't even need a second touch. And Kiileerrz has been doing this a lot. He is really susceptible to this if he doesn't win the race, way faster than Toxic. Because Toxic's going goal side on the diagonals. And Kiileerrz did it this time. He went much more goal side. But he's been going straight into the ball from the diagonal. And if that other player is faster than you and gets goal side, it's pretty much exactly what just happened every time. Toxic given a free goal. I really do think Kiileerrz is going to have a better time saving these not in and out of the net. But hey, this is what he wants to do. He feels more confident. I mean, if he's going to do this, he needs to... It's so hard to time. That's the problem. It's so hard to time because it takes so long to set up that save in net. So even though the placement from Toxiic was very poor, I would say, it ends up working out perfectly because Kiileerrz's save is really long to set up and then also really hard to get back down low. Kiileerrz demo, he wasn't going to be able to stick with the ball, so he'll just take Toxiic off the map. Looking for a 50 in this situation. Pretty good spawn for Toxiic. I think he might have had a tougher time if he spawned on the other side, but he got to instantly join a shadow position. Kiileerrz a possession play. I like this. Out to the midfield. Set up a much better attack. Toxiic has been giving him tons of space, but he challenges this one very well. Still doesn't take control. An extended Kiileerrz possession is truly a sight to behold. Because even when he won the last game, it didn't feel like he was holding on to control the ball for very long. Gonna steal this corner boost. Toxiic uses a bit to push it away, but the possession is not over. Ooh, not the best power slide cut. He actually fully regained it with that soft flip into another one. But Toxiic has a good backflip challenge. Can he get the flick past Kiileerrz? He tries to fake it, but he's a little bit too close to the net to do so because Kiileerrz can cover both just with a soft jump in net. If Toxiic did rip the flick, Kiileerrz actually still had it covered just because there's not a ton of angles from that close to the net. And now it's going to be a fourth on the counter. Toxiic grabs the boost, but has a direct shadow. Can be really hard to get up and make a strong save from that position. Was likely going to have to backflip, but probably the follow-up would still go in Kiileerrz's favor. Toxiic, ball to air dribble. Reset, crossbar down, not in. Can he finish it off? No. It hits the post and falls too far away from the net for a backflip to finish off the play. Oh, Kiileerrz, what a catch. 21 boost. Gonna use it for what is a pretty safe option. He just decides, instead of going for a reset and a flip, just get one more touch. And if it doesn't work, it's fine. Kiileerrz's gonna hit the ground much faster that way. Whereas if he does try and go for a reset and uses a flip, he'll delay his recovery by a large margin and make it a much more risky play. So up two, he doesn't need to be doing that. Toxiic is going to fake the reset to get a third here with 2 minutes left to go. Can he get a two-pointer with a quick kickoff goal to instantly go from down two, tying the game right back up? He has a great opportunity to here, and he does! The 1v1 two-pointer, as I like to call it. Kiileerrz felt like he had control. All it takes is an open field goal and a few more seconds to tie the game. Kiileerrz. His flick is soft in a crucial moment. Everything needs to be perfect. Toxic's going to take to the skies. Didn't like his chances on an air dribble. Not with that soft of a setup. So he did just try and follow it to the ground, but Kiileerrz takes it away. And this 50 is going to work well for Kiileerrz, who's going to steal the corner boost and actually protected the other corner as well, but got a little bit too caught up. Didn't recognize that Toxiic was in not that bad of a position. Even though he was low on boost, he had a quick takeaway and a great bounce. Doesn't get better in terms of bounces for Toxiic. One hard chip shot into one perfect bounce right in front of the top right corner. Kiileerrz, great touch to prevent that kickoff from being too much of a problem. Toxiic. Air dribble bump. Kiileerrz able to get around it. Minute on the clock. Important moments for Kiileerrz. Can he get past Toxiic here? He takes to the skies. Both of them in slow-mo. Toxiic helps roll it in. Great patience from both of them, really. But Kiileerrz sees the early challenge and knows the best way is to just force it in with a 50. And he creates the own goal there to tie the game. 51 seconds left to go. Direct kickoff goal. No. Missed wide. And so wide. Kiileerrz is actually going to be able to get his own corner boost, which is a big deal, as he's much more likely to get out of his own half, and he does that exactly right now. Oh my goodness, what a shot, and what a save to have that glue to the back wall and completely erase any chance of a follow-up. 20 seconds, Kiileerrz in the air. The dribble, he carries it over the top. Able to slow it down and keep it away, giving it that bit of extra height that Toxiic did not expect. He had so much left in the tank, and he drops it right over the top of Toxiic. 6-5, 19 seconds left to go. If there's somebody you want on the kickoff for Europe in this late moment, it is Toxiic, as he goes wave dash and gains control. He's quick with the ball to force it near Kiileerrz' net, but he actually cut off some of his space with that play and makes it possible for Kiileerrz to challenge early. A demo, no boost for Toxiic. A first touch that is probably too strong. Oh my goodness, he has a great opportunity. He's bumped. Kiileerrz wins the game. Toxiic almost got the long shot, but it hit the post, and it went too high. He couldn't get a follow-up before Kiileerrz made it back in time. A match as close as chat predicted, but the Middle East will win the first of 5 matches today.